Okay, this is Elia Kazan and Albert Maltz. Albert Maltz was a American communist, and Elia Kazan was a former communist who was actually alienated and named names during the HUAC, or House of Un-American Activities Committee, which, by the way, was justified based on from what I've been able to tell in my research. Um, why I'm bringing these two men up is they represent for me why you should not ever capitulate to the woke mob, why you should never tolerate their bullshit, because all the bullshit you see today, Albert Maltz and Elia Kazan, they both dealt with it. They both put up with it, and they responded to it. Now, Elia Kazan, he named names, he called them out, and he eventually got a Lifetime Achievement Awards. Albert Maltz, he was raked over the coals. Like, you're probably wondering, oh, well, what the fuck did he do? Basically, he wrote an article in New Masses called "What Shall We Ask of Writers?" And all he said was that to inject a agenda into a piece of work you're working on is hack work. Like he was arguing for moderation. That was it. He wasn't saying we shouldn't have communist propaganda in our movies. He was saying be subtle about it. Like I get into this argument all the time with Dan. Like I say, all communists, even the ones back then, were scum. He says if you take the ones from back then to the present, they would probably be horrified as well. It's hard to say which, but I think if Albert Maltz could see how movies are made today, like the blatant, biased political message they are injecting into stuff, even he would probably be annoyed. And he recanted on what he wrote eventually because, again, they raked him over the coals, and he was doing it, I think, just to make it stop eventually. But anyway, I bring these two men up also because I find wokeness is an insult to their memory. Like both of these guys believed in bullshit. The only difference is one of them recanted, the other one said, "I still believe in it, but there's a line for me." Or at least he did briefly. That's why Albert Maltz is one of the few communists who has my respect, or had briefly had my respect. Like for a brief moment, there was a commie who I could look at and I did not feel immediate disgust. That's Albert Maltz for me. Elia Kazan, he turned on on communism, and all of the tactics you see from the wokesters today, they dealt with from the Communist Party of America, like the unpersoning of someone, basically harassing people. Like there was even an Antifa back then. It was ran by Herbert Sorrell, a real scumbag and a racist, from what I can tell. He actually tried to join the Klan. I guess they didn't want him. But yeah. So where was I going? Oh yeah, but my main point is, well, I'll get to that next. Just one second. Wokeness is a bit like communism. Both practice a form of political correctness. I mean, yeah, like wokeism is basically, to me, it is no different than communism, and there you will find nothing to be more evil than communists. Like some people say Nazis, I say no. To me, a Nazi and a communist, they're distant cousins. They're the same thing as far as I'm concerned. I mean, both put you in camps where you die eventually. Both unperson you. Both will ruin your life if you step out of line even by one delineation step. Like, but by even an inch, they will ruin your life. And they're both just evil. They are both a kind of evil that I find kind of particularly sleazy. I think it's the intent, the intellectual dishonesty that drives me up a wall usually. Like they both act like they are this great thing that they're better than someone when they're not. They're actually lesser than someone. But anyway, that's the feeling I get from wokeness. Is like like it practices similar Marxist bullshit. Although they do have one thing that Marx didn't have: a hatred for the First or Second Amendment. Like he was a big believer in gun rights, from what I can tell. But anyway, um, now a couple was it a week ago or so? Anyway, I did a video talking about like how they are blackwashing Cleopatra and how I consider this a problem. Well, I recently saw a video by Endymion, which is a good video. He did a better job articulating and elucidating on why this is an issue. Like, if you want to, I will leave a link in the description to his video, and you can read watch that one also because again, he does a far better job with videos than I do. But anyway, he brought up how like he's Armenian. Well, one side of his family is Armenian, and how after the Armenian genocide, there was an attempt by the Ottoman Empire to cover it up, to rewrite history. I see no difference between what Wokesters do. The difference is they're trying to rewrite how things went down. And the real annoying part for me is their contempt for European history. Like, I don't see them trying to correct African history. It's only Japanese. Well, no, it's mainly European history. Like, which, by the way, if you have a problem with European history, you are an idiot because European history is better. And by that, I mean more interesting. And if that makes me a racist, fuck it, I can. But anyway, um, so I see this as a problem. Is like that's what they're doing. They're trying to make history more. I don't know, not insulting. Like history is not pretty. It's ugly. It's rude. It's kind of disturbing when you learn some of the shit us humans have done to each other over the centuries. But that's history. Like you do not have to like what happened in the past. Hell, I have this same problem with the French Revolution. I do not. I accept what happened, but I do not have to be happy about it. I'm not happy about the French Revolution. I'm not happy about the Russian Revolution. As far as I'm concerned, they were both abortions of revolutions. Like for some reason, only America got their revolution right. I think it's because we didn't listen to the crazies. But anyway, they are doing this to corrupt what future people will learn. Like they say, he who controls the past controls the present. He who controls the present controls the future. If you're wondering who said that, it was George Orwell, and I might be paraphrasing. I'm not sure if I'm using him verbatim. But that's why I think they're doing this. And wokeness is a cancer. It is a cancer that needs to be not just purged, utterly shit hammered. Like these pissheads go around ruining stuff, and they act like they should be commended for it. I think that's the part that really invites acrimony from me. But they do this. They ruin stuff, and they try to pervert and corrupt history, not tell it as it is, but how they wish it was. Well, I'm sorry, sunshine, but not. But life isn't like one college group's college safe space. Life is full of variables and statistics and factors you cannot control. It's chaotic. Get used to it. And the worst part I would say of wokeness is they've been doing this since the 30s and the 40s. Like the communists, they came to America, infiltrated us, or tried to. I don't know what their success rate was, but allegedly they came here in the 30s and 40s. They began fucking with the entertainment industry then, and they've never left. They've been here corrupting people one college campus at a time. And if you don't believe me, read Hollywood Party by Kenneth Lloyd Billingsley. Gives a pretty interesting insight. And I'm still reading the book, but based on what I can tell, yeah, I believe the communists have been doing this for a while. And this is kind of something that's just been unchallenged. Like, no one stood up to these people and said, you're full of shit. And this has enabled these wokesters to do really horrible things, in my opinion. Like, for a group of pissheads who claim to fight racism, they do more to instigate racism and racial tension. Um, like they seem to think that if you are white, straight, or male, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should give all your money to people and die in a ditch somewhere, probably. And and that, yeah, they seem to think that they've caused tension and they've caused people to now perceive the black people in a very negative light. Like the black community, I used to not have a problem with the black community. Then these wokesters start and BLM shut up, and now I'm not saying I want nothing to do with black people, but they have done damage to where that has certainly come to mind. So yeah, they've been stirring racial and we were warned about this. Yuri Brezhnev warned people in the 90s or was it the 80s about this. He was on a television program. He warned people about this, said they would be doing what's known as countermeasures of subverting America, making people believe that they are oppressed, that they are, yeah, just like every, and causing resentment among the people. And look around, we had those riots where cities were burning. Like black people and white people resent each other. Black people resent Asians. We have a very high anti-Jewish and Asian hate spree, apparently. Although they kind of like to mislead you on who actually is doing the hate spraying. Oh, and there's this belief that white people didn't do anything with their time on this earth. We did nothing. We invented nothing. We created nothing of value. We are worthless and should just go extinct. They also probably have instigated that mindset also. So, yeah, wokeness is a cancer. It is a cancer. It is a tumor that cannot be cut out soon enough. Like, like I don't even have a joke of how weird things are now because it's worse than cats and dogs living together. It's more like now the dog wants to be the cat and the cat wants to be a dog. That's how batshit crazy things are. And that's more or less why I oppose wokeness is just I really don't care what you do with your time on this earth. If you want to pretend to be something you're not, go for it. You will not get any argument from me, but do that in the privacy of your own home and leave me out of it. I think that's my main problem with it. That and this resentment and hatred of everything that came before you. Like these people live in a mass delusion. They seem to think that nothing good was done before they arrived. I mean, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, I guess the Benjamin Sisko. They like to pretend these things didn't happen. Like they are delusional pricks, and I think that's why I resent them the most. Is their narcissism and hubris really makes me go cuckoo sometimes. But anyway, I think I'll end the video here. That's more or less why I oppose wokeness. Like those are some of my grievances with it. And have a nice day. Remember, the game was rigged from the start.